jump into a subject that I touched on in the first video, previous video, because I feel it's a very important factor, very core principle of being happy, experiencing happiness, realizing happiness, and that is choosing to be happy. Make a conscious choice to be happy, a decision to be happy. I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to be happy for 1 minute. So let's get into it. So let's try an experiment. So let's try the 1 minute happiness experiment. Try to think of a time in your past where you experienced happiness. Maybe you were at a special place, a special event. You were watching a movie. You were with a special person, a pet. You were enjoying some experience with a friend or loved one. What else? You were enjoying life. You were being happy. You were experiencing happiness with a possession. Whatever the case may be, just try to recapture that feeling of some time where you were experiencing happiness, where you realized that you were happy. Pause the video and think of a time where you were experiencing happiness, where you realized you were happy, you were enjoying yourself, and recapture that moment and just feel that sensation, feel that change in your emotional state for 1 minute. Go ahead and pause the video now and give that a try. So how did that experiment work for you? Were you able to experience happiness or feel the sensation of happiness or realize happiness for 1 minute? Now, if you were able to do that, if you were able to experience happiness for 1 minute, maybe try it for 2 minutes. Double your results. See if you can be happy for 2 minutes. Just an experiment. Now, if you're able to experience happiness for 2 minutes, maybe, just quite possibly, that effect where you're like in the zone, you're in that emotional state, that positive emotional state, you can just carry that on for, who knows how long. Now, I'm not saying to consciously try to be happy for like 5 minutes or something, because, that might wreck your whole day. That might throw off your whole equilibrium, throw off your schedule. We don't want that. But hey, if you can experience happiness for 1 minute or even 2 minutes today, hey, that's pretty good, right? So does this exercise, this 1 minute happiness exercise, sound silly or ridiculous? Yes, of course it does. It's completely ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous that we have to make a conscious effort in order to experience happiness, that we just can't be happy. But I guess through practice or experience, say with practice of realizing happiness, realizing your happiness, experiencing happiness, perhaps it can become easier and easier to get into this emotional state, this positive emotional state where you're happy, where you're realizing happiness, where you're deciding what your emotional state is as opposed to reacting to outside forces, to other people who for one reason or another may want you to be unhappy or may not want you to be happy for whatever reason. But the main point being that you can control your own emotional state. You can dictate what your emotional state is. And why not decide to be happy? Why not choose to be happy for your emotional state? Now let's think about the opposite experiment. or an alternate experiment to this 1 minute happiness experiment. Let's think about, and I'm not asking you to try this, but let's think about trying to be unhappy for 1 minute, and then trying to be unhappy for 2 minutes. Now, I'm not asking you to try this because I think this can be like an autopilot routine that many people are in from day to day, and many people fall into day by day, where they're unhappy, where they're miserable. They're miserable, they're worrying, they're stressed out, they don't see any positive in their future, in the future. They're experiencing negativity on a daily basis. They're not experiencing happiness. Maybe they've given up on trying to be happy. Maybe they've decided that their life is so miserable or their problems are so great that there's no room for happiness. There's no room to decide to be happy, to realize happiness. So my point being here that being unhappy is very easy. We don't need to have an experiment to be unhappy. Unhappiness, being unhappy comes very natural for a lot of people. And it's not necessary. We are in control of changing or establishing our own emotional state. We can decide upon what emotional state we want to experience. We can decide to be happy. We can choose to be happy. We can decide to be unhappy. We can choose to be unhappy. But who wants to do that? I was thinking the other day about a song I used to hear on the radio. It happened quite often when I was at work. I was at this job in the late 80s, late 1980s, way back when. And this song was very popular. It was Don't Worry, Be Happy. I think it was Bobby McFerrin. Bobby McFerrin was the artist, was the singer. Well, anyway, I really like this song, and I still like it to this day. I think it has a very positive message. And it's don't worry, be happy. I mean, what more do you need? And in the song, he even says, if you're not happy, give him a call and he'll make you happy. It's funny. It's a funny song, it's a little silly. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is I always heard this song at work. It was very popular in the late 1980s. And we had the radio playing at work at this one job I had in the late 80s. And I liked this job. I enjoyed it. And I would talk to a lot of different people at this job. I would have to go to like different departments, you know, different work areas and talk about job orders and, you know, where we're at with certain job orders and what phase we're in and all this and that. You know, just regular work stuff. And I noticed that when this song played on the radio, I would look at people's faces that I was talking to, you know, about the job and so forth. And I noticed that it had like a negative effect on a lot of different people. I mean, people's face would turn into a scowl and be like, they would be like, oh, this song again. You know, like, now I understand, you know, just like any other song, and just like anything else, you know, some people like certain songs, some people don't like certain songs, just like anything, personal preference. But I did notice that with this song in particular, that it affected a lot of people negatively. And I think it was because a lot of these people already made a conscious decision to be unhappy, not to be happy. I'm at work, you know, how can you be happy at work? I need to get home, I need to pick up the kids, I need to go shopping, I need to get groceries, whatever, yada yada. You know, I need to do whatever. And I'm here stuck at work, so I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to be unhappy, I'm going to be stressed out, I'm going to worry about everything. So I think that song in particular may have kind of triggered or reinforced people's routines or train of thought, you know, what frame of mind they were in, usually at work, that they're at work, they're miserable, they're at their job, maybe they don't like their job, and they're hearing a song on the radio about being happy. I don't know, that's just my thought. Well, anyway, I just thought that was funny. It struck me as funny. But the main point being that that might have been like a trigger for some people to kind of centralize or concentrate on their own emotional state, and hearing a song about happiness that automatically makes them feel unhappy. I don't know. It just struck me, I don't know, it just strikes me as funny, strikes me as odd, unusual. So in conclusion, I think a lot of people get into their daily routine, and part of that is they get in a negative mood, they're not happy, they're kind of just going through the motions. Maybe they're thinking about what they're going to do later in the day after they get off of work, you know, so on and so forth. And some people just aren't happy unless they're miserable, pun intended. And so that's just my take on it. So I ask you, what is your thoughts on choosing to be happy, on deciding to be happy, on making a conscious effort to be happy? Is that possible? Is that you know, something you're interested in? Is that something that you've done before? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about choosing to be happy, making a decision to be happy, to control your own emotional state, or to dictate your own emotional state, or to decide what your emotional state will be for the day, for the moment, for 1 minute, for 2 minutes? Let me know. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe, share the video. Give me some feedback so I can keep making these videos. And that's it. We'll see you in the next video.